It's 1985 and I'm in the middle of a collecting frenzy. The first band I ever obsessed about were Dire Straits. And the record I'd like to talk about today is Communique by Dire Straits from 1979. Now this was the difficult second album from the band, well, the sophomore as the Americans would say, but it was the fourth one I bought by the band. Now when I say collecting frenzy, once I start collecting a band I have to get them all, and it takes time, so you feel constantly like you're waiting for the next purchase. So the first three I got were Brothers in Arms, Love Over Gold and Alchemy. So when I heard this, it was a bit of a jarring experience, because after the tempo of those records, this is completely different. This is much slower, it's much quieter, it's much more laid back. It sounds like they recorded it on holiday in places. It's so relaxed. And in a way, they kind of did, because they were in the Bahamas when they recorded this. And I think it shows a little bit. Just a little bit. So what have you got on here? Or who have you got on here? You got Mark Knopfler, David Knopfler, the last record he would appear on before he left. You've got Pick Withers on drums, who plays so well. He's a great player. And you've got obviously John Illsley on bass. Now the songs are very, very stripped back, very laid back. At first, when I first heard this, I didn't really like it. I thought, oh, I've been sold a pop here. But as I got older and have lived with the record for that many years, I've come to appreciate it more. So what have we got on here? We've got Once Upon a Time in the West, which is a little bit slower on this than the version I was used to. It is a little bit slower. Then you have News, Where Do You Think You're Going, which is an interesting song. I like Mark Knopfler's guitar work on that. A very quiet song, a very contemplative song. Then you have the title track, Communique, which I love. That's a lot of fun. So the album does pick up there, as far as I'm concerned. Side 2, flip it over onto side 2, you've got Lady Writer, which was a single. Again, it really picks up there. But then it drops back down again to a much more relaxed, slower level. As I say, I always found this record a little bit disappointing. And I always felt it just could have had a bit more oomph to it. And to be honest with you, even when I hear it today, I always feel, not cheated, that would be the wrong word, I always feel like there's just a little bit missing. It's just not quite what it could have been. To my ears anyway. I appreciate it more than I did when I first got it, but it just feels like there's just something a bit more oomph could have been given to some of the songs. A bit more tempo. I know volume and speed isn't everything, but on this I think just a little bit more would have been nice. So I always kind of feel a little bit let down. But there are some great moments on it, which I've mentioned. There are some great moments on it and great playing. Some of Mark Knopfler's guitar work is absolutely memorable, truly memorable for many years. You don't forget some of those licks. You really don't. They stay in the head forever. You really do. When it came out, the critics hated it. They panned it, they slammed it. The only praise it got was, again, Mark Knopfler's guitar work. As far as the charts go, well, it did quite well. It did quite well in Europe. The The Germans, for instance, put it straight to number 1. It also went to number 1 in Sweden, in New Zealand, and in Spain. We Brits put it to number 5. The Americans put it to number 11, which surprises me a little bit because I didn't think this type of slow, in some places pedestrian music would appeal to the Americans in any way, shape or form. But it obviously did. They bought it and they liked it. They seemed to like it a lot, as did we in Britain. Now, again, I think it's one of them that with a sleeve. The sleeve kind of suits the music. The sleeve's a bit neither here nor neither there. It's, you know, it's kind of forgettable. It's not the best sleeve they ever did, in my opinion. And again, I think that speaks for the music on the actual record as well. It's not the best album they ever did. Thankfully, things picked up on the next record. Thankfully for everybody. So, have you heard Communique by Dire Straits? It's not bad. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad. But it leaves you a little bit wanting just a little bit more. A little bit disappointed. So that's Dire Straits, Communique from 1979.